All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new week of Romage Collective Livestream, Halftime Ravens Livestream. We are currently facing the Cincinnati Bengals, and things are. I have a lot to say today. I have a lot to say about what just happened in this half. I was going to keep everything in order, but we have to talk about what just happened at the end of this half. How did we go from being up 14-7 to then being up 14-9 to then being down 17-14? And unfortunately, this is on our coach's hands. John Harbaugh continues to struggle with managing the game properly. Why on earth, on 3rd and 10 with 55 seconds left in the half, would you call a timeout to give Cincinnati time to get the ball back, knowing that does he know? Is he confused? Like, do you remember that Cincinnati receives the ball at the beginning of the second half? Cincinnati receives the ball, yet you called that timeout. So that touchdown with the extra 2 points, that is on Harbaugh's head. And then I didn't even mean to start with that. We had to start with that safety that happened, which originated from a failed catch from Tylan Wallace, a failed punt return catch from Tylan Wallace, playing the Ravens all the way back. All the way back. I think it was about between the 1 and 5 yard line. And boom, offensive line, the offensive line continuing to miss blocks, crucial blocks to keep our run going. The main thing that the Ravens need in this game is our run game. This is one of the worst rushing defenses to face, but we're struggling because the O-line isn't making the correct blocks at the correct times to get our running backs going. So that's an issue, but I just had to get that out there first because that was very, very aggravating to see, and it does look like typical Ravens football, typical John Harbaugh mismanagement going on here, and we gotta bring it down a bit, okay? All right, flock. So that's not exactly first, but let's start on a more positive note, talking about Kyle Van Noy. He is the AFC Defensive Player of the Month, and I'm pretty sure this was his first Defensive Player of the Month. So congratulations to Kyle Van Noy. He's had a great first 4 games, and he's doing very well on the defense. Once again, I mentioned this last week that EDC was cooking, bringing him back, and Kyle Van Noy is cooking. So just want to give a shout out to him. Another shout out I want to give, I don't have his picture up, but Rashad Bateman, he did have a really great drive with the Ravens, bringing us up to 14. He had 2 receptions for 34 yards, including a 16-yard touchdown. But we're seeing a lot more effort and grit from Bateman that most of us fans were waiting to see for a long time from him. And he's really putting in effort. Like, you can see the effort he's putting in. During that drop by Nelson Aguilar, which resulted in an incomplete pass, when the ball fell, Bateman was the first one on the ball, just in case it would be considered a turnover, a fumble. Bateman got on that ball, and then he continued to score that touchdown reception to bring us up to 14. So Big shout out to Rashad Bateman. We have so many weapons on offense. We have so many weapons. And if our offensive line can make the right blocks and get the right people, going, it's so much more that we can do. We shouldn't only be up 14 points, but it's a combination of things on top of management and on top of the O-line. Lamar has had a few inaccurate passes today that has, during some times, I won't say they were always during like crunch time, but he did have some inaccurate passes that did affect some of our drives. And if we could get him, if he could be a little bit more on target and take his time, I know O-line issues, but if he could take his time with it, we can we can make the right plays because Zay seemed to be going at the beginning of the first half. He seemed to get some receptions. We seemed to be getting him going after he had a pretty quiet game week 4 against Buffalo. But we just need to see a bit more. But on top, we did start off very well with play action. The run and the pass game have equally been utilized throughout this game. But it's getting a little tight now, and now we have to try to come back now after the half instead of trying to continue to put our foots on their necks. Now we have to focus on coming back and on stopping a touchdown drive from the Bengals going into the second half, because they do receive the ball at the second half. So divisional opponents are always going to be tough. It doesn't matter how trash their season has looked or been. When you're going against divisional round opponents, this is the time you really want to play clean. This is the time that you need defense to lock in. This is the time where the game needs to be managed well. And we're not really seeing any of that so far. So that's really not good. Now, the only other thing I want to mention today was when Nate Wiggins did stop that drive from the Bengals, and it seemed it was a missed pass interference call. It was a missed call against us, but I don't care, because after all we went through those first 3 weeks with those BS penalties, they owed us at least this one. They owed us at least that one. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because somehow Cincy gets the ball back and somehow they score right before the end of the half. But I already knew it was going to happen. So for the second half, what the Ravens need to do: play clean, play accurate, fight for your receptions, make accurate throws, make the proper blocks, set the run game up. Now we're playing from behind, but still try to set the run game up, because if you could get Derrick Henry down the field and even Justice Hill down the field, we will be good. Defense, our secondary, I want to say tighten up. Outside of Kyle Hamilton, I'm not seeing too many things I like from the Ravens secondary. So I need to see that cleaned up as well. And that's really it. That's all I have to say. John Harbaugh needs to he needs to get it together. These little decisions, these little mistakes that he keeps making will cost you the game, and it will cost us a championship. So we need him to get right, because He's in the hot seat. He has 30 minutes. 30 minutes to get together. But that is all for this week. I'm sure the game will be coming back on soon if it's not back on already. Thank you for everyone who tuned in or anyone who's going to tune in. I'll be back week 7. This is week 5, right? I'll be back week 7, Monday Night Football. Wait, does that count as week 7? Ignore that. Monday Night Football on October 21st against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Very excited for that game, but that will be the next time I come in with a halftime live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, Ravens, stop doing